I've started the recording.
Great. All right, well, welcome. If someone could just quickly put something in the chat if you can hear us, okay, so we know that we're on and started. All right, great. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today and for your interest in participating on the live board. I'm Michelle Raymer. I am, by day, I'm a senior program officer at Volunteer Iowa, but then I'm also currently serving as the president-elect for Alive. So I know for me personally, board service has been incredibly rewarding, an opportunity to work with many of the wonderful people you'll meet today and so many others who are really champions for the profession. And I think that, you know, hopefully that you'll find as well as we talk through some of the board expectations and the role of the board, that you'll also see that, you know, it's a really great way to grow personally, professionally, develop new skills and, you know, implement skills that you already have in order to share your knowledge and expertise and advance the work of Alive. So we're so glad you're with us. So Megan, if you want to move to the next slide, we'll just quickly talk through what we're going to review today. So we're going to spend some time talking a little bit about the mission and vision of Alive, to give you some background about kind of the purpose of the organization, talk a bit about expectations for board members, so what you could expect as a board member and what's expected of you, talk about the different committees and responsibilities to have a sense of what some of the opportunities are once you're on the board, talk through what the support is for new board members and know that you're kind of not alone. We try not to just throw you into things, trying to make sure people are supportive so they can be successful throughout their time. Talk about what the nomination and election process looks like and have time at the end to get to know you and answer any questions you have. So with that, I will just do a quick introduction. So again, I introduced myself, so I'll pass things over to Megan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Vixie. I'm currently the president of Alive. So welcome. We're so happy to have you here today. And is that all I need to say for now, Michelle? Is that good? Or sorry. Wait, you're on mute.
Oh, you're
You're still on mute, Michelle.
I was saying you can either share what made you decide to apply for the board, if you can still remember, otherwise something about your board experience that you've enjoyed.
Sure. So it was a while ago, I'd say about 5 years ago. I was approached by one of the board members at a conference about joining Alive. And I was just really intrigued about the opportunity to serve on more of a national level. I had been president of my local association, so an opportunity to really just see how I could help impact the lives of volunteer engagement professionals across the country and in the important work that we do. So I think that was just really excited me and continues to excite me about, you know, Life Strategic Plan and where we're at. So that's why I've joined and why I've continued to stay on the board these last 5 years. So.
Thanks, Megan. Alana, do you want to share next?
Sure. My name's Alana Napo. I am a board member at large currently in my first year on the board, and I'm the incoming vice president of the Programs and Advocacy Committee for beginning in the year 2022. So I'm on the committee now. I really enjoy it. And what really inspired me to join the board was I'm someone who has always had a lot of ideas and an interest in improving the field of volunteer engagement. And I really saw the Alive board as an opportunity to transition from sort of wishing to doing. So if you are wishing for certain improvements, this will allow you the opportunity to take that action. So I really encourage you to just pay attention to the different opportunities available and listen for where you might find your space. I'm sure there's a space for each of you. So thank you for being here.
Great. Kayla, you want to share next?
Yes, so Kayla Paulson. And for me, joining Alive meant that I got a chance to really help on a national scale, building up our profession. Anyone that knows me knows I'm not afraid to challenge each other and challenge volunteer engagement professionals to do more, to do better, to rethink what we've always thought. And this was a great way to connect with others that were pushing that envelope and fighting for their community to have a stronger volunteer engagement culture. So that might be why I'm in the membership side of thing and really get to connect with other individuals.
Thanks, Kayla. And Michael?
Hey everybody, I'm Michael Mulhern. I am a board member in my first year of service and part of the marketing committee. I joined because it's a little bit of a militant answer. I think volunteer management is one of the most rewarding, challenging, interesting professions, but I feel that very often it is undervalued. I feel that there's a lot of recognition of the role that just doesn't happen in many organizations. And I think that by joining together, there's an opportunity to really advance the profession, to get more respect, to get better salaries, and really let people, understand what we do. It's not a position people fall into. I think it's a position that people should train and study and work towards. And so that was my goal. And as a volunteer manager, it's about volunteering myself. So this was an opportunity to be able to give my time, just as I asked so many people to, for a very worthwhile cause.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. And then last and certainly not least, Gretchen, are you able to introduce yourself quickly?
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Gretchen Jordan, and I'm the association manager. So paid part-time. This is my day gig. Welcome, everybody, and really glad that you're here.
Awesome. Thanks, Gretchen. Gretchen definitely is the glue that holds us all together and keeps us organized. All right, Megan, do you want to kick us off with talking about the mission and vision?
Sure. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with just what our mission and vision is at Alive, but just to kind of give you just kind of another perspective, we formed in 2000 and I just want to make sure I get it right, 2009. And we're here for the volunteer engagement professional. That's really our focus. That is our goal. We are here for the profession. And how do we help elevate volunteer engagement professionals as leaders in their organization, leaders in their community, really having the ability to take volunteers and demonstrate that they are an avenue, a mechanism for change. And they are the ones that can help drive missions, accomplish missions. And so we want to support those that are leading the charge with the volunteers and how they can continue to elevate themselves, not just more on the administrative level, but on the strategic level. So we focus on three main components, which is collaboration and networking, professional development, and advocacy. So much of what we do falls within those three areas. So when we look at what programs we're going to provide or what partnerships we're going to pursue, they are connected back to those one of those three tenets, because that is really our mission. And all of those things help the volunteer engagement professional. So again, our vision for who Alive is really to be that resource, that connector, that hub for the volunteer engagement professional. You can come to us, you can come to your network, you can come to like-minded people and be able to not only get the answers you need, but sometimes get information you didn't even know you needed. And so there's an opportunity to continue to develop your skills, to develop your role, but also to give back to the profession. And that's why so many of us are here today, because we feel it's important and necessary for our field to continue to grow. How do we give back to others? How do we help each other in this field? We are not very well established field in terms of academia. It's something I think that is continuing to be pushed forward. But right now we are here for each other. And so we don't, it's more me now. We don't need an external force to validate what we do or who we are. We are going to do that for each other, and we're going to continue to fight the fight. That's where advocacy comes in. But we also see the benefit of being able to pull one another up. And so that's really where the board comes in, and all the work that we do is to really guide that process. We have a 5-year strategic plan. If you have not seen that yet, it is on our website. It is something the executive committee with input from the board put together in 2020. So we did this in 2020, and not knowing where we would be at that time, because we did that in January 2020. And, I'm so happy to say that over the last, 2 years, really, we've been able to accomplish what we had set out to do in our strategic plan. And so we're really excited for the next 3 years to see where we can continue to go and other opportunities that present itself. But we feel very accomplished in what we've done, and the board is really the place that helps to accomplish that plan. And so, as I mentioned, just with board member functions, part of that really is being an integral part of the leadership team. So our board members, whether or not you serve in a particular role, you've seen many of us on the call today have, we can be a VP of an area or on the executive committee, but really the entire board looks at providing that direction as well as accomplishing the mission and vision of Alive. So you're on the board to provide your thoughts, to provide your recommendations, to see where we're going, to guide the process. When we look at board members and we select them, people are being selected because we know they have the capability and the skills to be able to do this work. Even if you may not have done it yet, that's okay. You are able to, for what you have done already, have demonstrated the ability to provide that feedback and offer your suggestions, your recommendations, your input. That's why we have a larger board, is because we want to have a lot of voices at the table that can help represent our community that we have here and be able to move us forward in the right direction. So together, all of us as board members are responsible for the governance and oversight of all aspects of Alive. So there's never a space where, oh, you just stick to this over here and you stick to that over there. We really have a collaborative process because we want to make sure that people feel engaged, and you're here to offer that perspective. So we have our board meetings. We make sure that we're bringing things forward to everyone. We also have opportunities via email and between board meetings to really just keep people up to date or get folks' opinions. So it's really engaged board that we hope to have and that we do have now. And again, just our responsibility as board members really, aside from governance, is really being able to promote Alive, really engage with our members and make sure that people know why we're here, know how we can help them, and be able to continue that elevation of the field. And that really starts with all of our members. So with that, I think I turn it back over to Michelle.
And so a bit about board member expectations, and you can find our entire board position description on the board recruitment website on our webpage on our website. But overall, the board terms are 3 years, and you can serve up to 2 consecutive terms, 6 years, before taking kind of a break off the board, but then you're welcome back again. The time commitment, we ask that you be able to attend at least 9 out of 12 meetings. So we'd have monthly meetings, and really hope that people can attend those, because that's where we're able to really connect, share updates, and assign who's working on what. We do, so keep that in mind. What we'll do is, after our board has been set, we'll send out a poll to identify a time that works best for the most people. But know that that's a big piece of the commitment, is making sure you can attend those meetings and participate actively in them. The time commitment also is generally up to 15 to 20 hours a month, though it's not every month that it's that much. It kind of varies depending on the season and what committees you're on and what projects are happening and what you're taking the lead of. Again, so qualifications and getting to the things that Megan talked about. You know, if you have a connection to that mission that she was sharing, even if you haven't served on a board before, but you have proven leadership skills in other areas, represent different areas of the profession, excuse me, and are able to kind of show that you can be a visionary person to move the organization forward. So responsibilities, attending those meetings, leading or co-leading at least one committee, subcommittee, or special project. So knowing that it's not enough just to attend the meetings, you need to find that piece that is really a good fit for you and take leadership of that and really own that component of it. We hope that all of our board members will help engage other members and people in the public to participate on Alive and volunteer. So support volunteers that are supporting Alive's mission, share your skills and networks. As part of our commitment to equity, we no longer require a financial donation because we don't want that to be a barrier for anyone, but we encourage a donation if possible, and then always review and be aware of our policies. And so the committees are really where a lot of the work happens within Alive. And so we have a few committees that really focus on our kind of internal capacity and structure, and then others that are more focused outwardly on our services to our membership. So the executive committee is one of those internal ones. It's comprised of our VPs of the different committees, our president, president-elect, past president, treasurer, and secretary. And so that committee helps set the agendas for board meetings, helps to lead some of that strategic planning and guiding the board and the board's work. The board development committee helps run the nominations and selection process for the board, and also helps with the onboarding of new board members and providing that support and identifying if there's any additional training or support that could be offered to help the board, you know, perform at its best. The HR and policy committee helps set the policies and procedures for the organization and helps make sure we're following them, but also takes the lead on our internal volunteer engagement. So making sure that, you know, we practice what we preach and have a good internal structure for engaging volunteers and process for identifying what those needs are for volunteers to participate in and make sure that people feel supported and prepared for the volunteer roles. And so the HR and policy committee, that's actually an area that we're hoping to bring on more board members who maybe have an interest in helping support our internal volunteer engagement. So if that's something that, you know, you've helped set up your own organization's internal volunteer engagement before and want to help us strengthen ours, we'd love to have you in that area. Another kind of internal committee is finance. And so that's another area we're seeking new board members who want to be more involved. So the finance committee helps set our financial policies and procedures, helps check the budget, make sure we're on track from month to month, you know, addresses any financial issues that come up of, you know, making sure we have, you know, the right people in our accounts or the right procedures in place. And so we're looking for people who are interested in that committee and maybe interested in serving as treasurer in the future. So if this is an area you have an experience in, or even if it's just something you're interested in and would like to learn more, you know, we currently have some really knowledgeable people on the board that can help provide that training to eventually get someone to be into that role. And then lastly, for our kind of internal work is our DEAI committee. And so that's more of an ad hoc committee that we created to really take a look at Alive as an organization and identify ways that we could really be more equitable and inclusive throughout our internal structure, but then also in our programming and how we can support members in achieving that goal as well. So those are our internal committees. And now we'll talk a little bit more about some of our more external facing committees, starting off with marketing, I believe.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael again. The marketing committee currently has an open role for a VP of marketing to serve as chair. We have 7 members that participate. We are kind of in reorganization process. So what I'd like to say is if you have an interest in marketing or think you have marketing related skills, check us out. We're in the process of writing out some job descriptions to help incoming board members find a good fit and really understand what the expectations are. But right now we are actively looking for people that have experience in social media engagement. We're looking to expand some of the graphic designs that we're producing for the marketing campaigns that we're doing. Anybody that is interested in writing, whether that be social media posts, press releases, there's some great opportunities. And anybody that has experience in utilizing data. We're looking to make marketing a little bit less reactionary. And identify some objectives so that we can market both internally and externally to promote Alive. We currently are producing a monthly newsletter. There's interest in increasing the frequency to do that twice a month. We do e-blasts. We are doing regular social media posts across most of the major social media accounts. So a lot of opportunity. At present, we are meeting on the just scheduled our meetings to be the first Wednesday of the month from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, 12 to 1 Pacific Standard. We will take a survey as we get new members, but just something to consider. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Either I or another member of the marketing committee would be happy to help you work out what your involvement would entail and kind of encourage you to see if it's a good fit. So thank you for your time.
Wonderful. So membership, as many of you know, we've got some really great membership among Alive. And whether you like to connect with others, you are somebody that revels in networking, it's a great role for you. Or if you're somebody that wants to get better at it and wants to build out your personal network, those are some great ways to step in. We've got some amazing individuals that can take you under their wing and help get your confidence level up to run with that. Thinking about responsibilities. We do some strategy side on how are we retaining members, how are we communicating with them, and working with Michael's amazing team to help get that in practicality and in tangible items. But also managing that registration and making sure we've got the renewal process going well. I will say, if you like to get to work with Gretchen, we do on a regular basis to help make sure all of that side of things is going well. Also serving as that point of contact for potential members. So if somebody wants to learn more about Alive, if they want to learn how to maximize their membership, those are great ways that we step in and help out. And it's welcoming them. We do new member calls to check in. We have new member webinars. We've got socials, virtual, unless we get to have in-person events at national conferences and that kind of stuff. But it's a way to really engage and connect with a broader population of volunteer engagement professionals. And then we do a member survey to really check in and see, are we meeting those needs? Where do we need to step in and lean forward to really help move the organization forward? Local associations. So as you heard, a couple of us have been leadership with our local DOVIAs or volunteer administrator networks or leaders and volunteerism. There's 1,000 different names out there for the same great product. But we have a group that really helps build up those local associations. So they can come in as a special membership of local association. We do have that VP that kind of helps with that piece. And then we've also got them working to build out, what are some good setup guides? What are those handbooks? Are there mentors that we can connect with some newer entities that are really building that out? They are pulling together quarterly roundtable meetings, some trainings, a lot of great information. The piece that even if you don't join our committee that I'd encourage you to think about is we do have a directory of local associations. So if you know of one that's not on there on our website, do reach out to me. I would love to get it added. We also sometimes have great members that go, oh my gosh, I didn't even know there was an association in my neck of the woods. So it's a great way to make those connections.
Okay, so for programs and advocacy, there's a lot under this committee. We have a lot of subcommittees, and those are all listed on the right in that green panel. And I'll talk a little bit about those, but it is made up of board members and members. So you don't have to be a board member to be on the committee. You can be any member. And the responsibilities are creating and managing the programs that support professional development and advocacy for the profession. And those are the ones listed on the right. And research industry trends, issues, and legislation, and keep current on changes that affect the profession to share with members. So the last thing is running the Alive Academy and cultivating industry thought leaders as well as members to present webinars. So the Alive Academy is really exciting. This is a monthly offering of webinars. So on different topics pertaining to volunteer engagement, and members have the opportunity to present as well as to suggest topics they might be interested in hearing about. Communities of practice are great. That's kind of what it sounds like. So it's small groups that meet also, some meet monthly, some meet maybe every other month, etc. But basically communities within different industries of nonprofits. So there's one for healthcare, there's one for transportation, one for animal welfare. We have several, and we're always available to start more if there's someone to take the lead. So it's groups that meet so you can really network and bounce ideas off of others who might have a really good insight into the kind of work that you do. We have a mentor program where you can be paired either as a mentor or a mentee with the other. And that's been a great resource, especially for newer folks to the profession. We are always working on adding to and improving a resource page on our website. We work on the hybrid conference. So that's coming up in October this year. This year's theme is around DEI. So we help organize that. We definitely do a lot of the research and advocacy that Megan was talking about initially in terms of furthering our profession on a more broad scale, and the Impact Awards. So nominations are open if you would like to nominate someone to win an award for being an amazing volunteer management and engagement professional. So we have a lot of upcoming openings to lead these subcommittees. And what I will say about leading either within the board or within a subcommittee is that you don't have to be an expert. I think a lot of the hesitation that comes in becoming a board member or a committee or subcommittee leader is sort of waiting to achieve this certain amount of confidence or expertise, but really I encourage you to jump in. This is a profession where we learn by doing and we learn from each other. So don't wait. Now's the time, and you'll have guidance. You'll have people to learn from and people to answer questions if you're not sure what direction you want to go. Thank you.
So as I mentioned, as people become new board members, we try to provide all the support we can so that way everyone can be really successful in that role. One piece of that is doing a new board member social. So we, at the very beginning of the board year, planned a social event that was just an hour of on Zoom. One of our new board members actually helped plan some different icebreakers and activities and just spent time getting to know each other because obviously so much of our field depends on good relationships. So building up those relationships with other board members. We also invite all new board members to attend our December board meeting just to get a chance to observe and see what it's like and kind of get the rhythm and understand the process of what we cover. We do a new board member orientation with all new board members to go over the expectations of a board member, answer any questions people have. We have recently, we have Alive bylaws and recently updated our policies and procedures. So we have all of that information to provide to new board members to not only review, but also just have accessible to refer back to if questions come up. We have a board buddy program where we assign all of our board members, not just the new ones, to have a board buddy as a way, especially for new people, to have someone that you can go to for those questions, but for everyone to have someone that they can connect with more regularly. You know, it's hard with a large board to really connect one-on-one during the board meeting time. So it's that chance to just check in a little bit more with someone, see how things are going, talking through projects you're working on, and just learn about each other. We provide a new board member checklist that has a list of activities to complete to help get you really kind of oriented to your new role. And then have also started doing a first quarter check-in with all the new board members, where we call to have a conversation about what's going well, maybe what's not going well, what helped during the onboarding and orientation process, what was missing, so that way we can continue to improve the process as we go and just keep making that experience better and better for people. A little bit about the board nomination process. So I'll give a little bit of kind of history behind this. Of last year, we, in doing some self-reflecting, realized that our board was not at all representative of the communities that our members were serving, and that was a disservice to our members, and that really we weren't going to be able to fully meet our mission unless we addressed that. And so we took a lot of steps to do a survey of our current board to see where we were at in different perspectives, in, you know, race, gender, even, you know, geographic location, skill sets and expertise, to identify, you know, whose voices and perspectives we had on the board and what we're missing. So that way we could really strategically try to address that. So we saw, you know, a great board recruitment process last year, and know that we still have room to grow. So and improve. So have continued that work and done a survey. So on our recruitment page is a list of those kind of gaps that were identified of skills and perspectives that we know we're still missing. And so if one of that connects with you and how you identify, then we'd love to have you participate. If we missed anything that you think would be beneficial, definitely let us know that as well. And know that if you have other skills, or if some of the activities we talked about that are in our strategic goals are something that you feel like you could really help us move forward, we'd love to have you. So know that is definitely not an exclusive list. It's a list of a few things, but know that there's so many more different voices and skills that could be brought to the board to help us grow and improve. So know that you're very much welcome. The nomination process is open now, so you can self-nominate yourself or else nominate someone else. And definitely don't feel shy about submitting a nomination for yourself. I know sometimes as volunteer engagement professionals, we're not great at kind of tooting our own horn and talking up who we are and what we've accomplished. So please don't hesitate to share that about yourself. And we have this informational webinar. It'll be recorded and shared out. Please be sure to submit your nominations by September 15th. So that way we can have them. We'll then, our board development committee will then conduct phone interviews with all of the applicants and hopefully have those scheduled and completed by October 13th. And from there, we'll kind of match out what makes most sense for the candidates that applied and how that meets with gaps in our current board and goals for what we hope to accomplish in the future. And be in touch with people to let them know that they have been selected to be included in our recommended slate of board members. From there, voting will open for our membership to vote on the slate if they approve or not. It'll close on November 12th. After that, we'll nominate, or we'll let everyone know if it was passed by our membership, and announce that then at the live annual meeting, which we hope everyone can attend on November 30th, which will be a great way just to hear updates about all we've accomplished so far this year. And then we'll plan an orientation, and you'll get started with your new board service January 1st of 2022. So that's a bit about the timeline for the process. And again, I'll just reinforce that, you know, I I think all of us can attest to the fact that we've definitely gained so much from this experience, and really hope that you'll consider. And if board service isn't the right fit for you at this time, hope that you'll consider potentially joining a committee or another project where you can take a leadership role, and then from there move into board service. So know that even if in hearing this, hopefully it sparked an interest in you're interested in participating as a board member. But if not, there's a lot of other roles for you to still get involved and participate. And yes, as Alana mentioned, you don't have to be an expert to be a leader. It's true. It's really about, doing what you do best as volunteer engagement coordinators, of being able to identify a need and help find people that are the experts, and just coordinating that process and engaging them. So with that, I will open it up to any other thoughts or reflections from board members that are on our panel here today, or else any questions that you all in the audience have. So feel free to type those into chat, and we're happy to discuss those and answer any questions you have. And know that the people we have on today, it's a mix. So I know Alana and Michael, they're in their first years of board service. And then we have a number of us who've been around for a little bit longer. So I see we have one question: how long do the board meetings generally last? And so board meetings are about 1 hour once a month. So occasionally we can do it in under an hour, and that's always a cause for celebration. Other questions or any other comments from our board panel on today?
I would say the thing that makes this such a great org and such a great board is that we are a board of people who does stuff. So it's great when our meetings do last a full hour, because it's a testament to how much we're actually doing to further our profession and further the field. So we hope you'll join us in the world of doers.
And it does not have to be an Alive member that nominates you. You can nominate yourself. Someone else who's not an Alive member can nominate you as well.
Michelle, did you see the question about how many members are on the board and what's capacity?
Yeah, so I believe, and Megan, you can jump in here if I misspeak. We have up to 19 members on the board. And so we currently are at 19, but have a number that are needing to step down. And so I think we're anticipating that we can have up to 7 new people join us on the board. There's a question about board and committee times. And so those are all scheduled by the different committees. So the board, its meetings are usually scheduled at the beginning of the year based on when it works for everyone, and then held at that time throughout that year. But then committees decide on their own what time works best for their committee and their members. And I think most generally follow a similar process where they try to hear from whoever's on the committee of what time works best and set that time.
There's a great question from Bethany. She says, I have only just joined Alive this summer. Do you really want people who have not been part of the organization for very long? Yes, we do.
Great question. I know that there's a number of us who joined Alive and joined the board at the same time even. So definitely appreciate people who have a lot of experience with Alive, but also appreciate that new perspective too.
I would say the big requirements are a passion to move volunteer engagement forward. No matter how long you've been with Alive, or even in volunteer engagement, if you've got a great skill set that really rounds out and that you're new to the paid volunteer engagement gig. I had somebody recently that was like, oh, I've done it 25 years, part-time, unpaid, and I just started getting paid. Look at what you've got going on, reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer questions.
And I would just say off of what Michelle and Kayla said, I mean, we all have a wealth of experience and skills available to us throughout our careers that are applicable to the work that's being done. So regardless sometimes of how long you have been a member or maybe in the field in particular, those skill sets are still there. And that's, transferable to what we do. So there's, everyone has varying degrees of experience and expertise in almost any area. And that's what is helpful to our board. And sometimes a new and fresh perspective is very valuable, as well as experience that has been gained over years and years. So this is where we try to create that balance and that diversification of our board. So this really helps us be more strategic in moving our goals forward. And so if I had to say, just what I would be looking for in board members, and any of you all, on our panel can jump in. I think part of that is really the passion to learn, because this is not going to be something that you're going to be handed a playbook that's going to tell you step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It really is being able to put your critical thinking skills to use and to really have an opportunity to create something or to envision something into reality. So that's a lot of what we can do at the board level when we look at our strategic plan. And a lot of it is the big sky thinking, where do we see this profession going? How do we feel Alive can play a role in that? And what's the strategy behind that? And that's where we all get together and have those conversations and think about it at not only the committee levels, but also the board levels. How do we engage our partners? How do we create new partnerships? All of it is that kind of 50,000 foot view. And we are a working board. We'll drop down into the 10,000 foot view as we need to and land things on the runway, because that's part of it as well. But it's an opportunity to gain skills in all of that. So just something to think about, where it's that passion to learn, ability to be able to just speak up and offer your opinion. There's no wrong opinion. It's made up of several voices, and that's why we've chosen board members, is because we want to hear from you. We want that opinion, and we want that perspective, because that will only make us better. The more information we have, the better decision we're going to make. So this is something where if you're comfortable in that space, and it's not always about knowing the answer, sometimes it's just asking the questions. So we want that to be seen in our, in upcoming board members, just to be able to have that ability to just jump right in. Like Alana said, it's okay. Many of us did that before. I would say probably 99.9% of us never had experience on a national association before joining as a board member. So that's okay. And you have the skills already. Now you're just applying it in a different way. So sometimes it can feel intimidating, but it's really not. Many of us are professionals, been doing this work for a while, or who may be new, but can offer skills that are needed to the board. All of us bring something different. So just consider that when you're completing your application, where your strengths are and what you can provide. And it doesn't have to be, this litany of a resume that is like 10 pages long of all these things. It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people who are willing to learn, who can offer their expertise, and who show up and can provide their perspective. So I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts, especially our new members. Michael and Alana, you were new to the board this year, and just what your experience has been, or what you can kind of provide, testament to what it's like as a new board member.
I can start. I think it's great because it's so organized. Like, look at that slide of all the dates. That's amazing. I've been in, groups at the statewide level or regional level that, really didn't have the kind of leadership that this organization has. And it's, I guess, to summarize what I'm saying is there's a very solid foundation you'll be stepping into. So the guidance is there. Even though, yeah, there's an aspect of hitting the ground running, there's also, this aspect of you won't be doing that alone. So I really appreciate that about this organization.
I can say that the friendliness and level of support that you're seeing in this is accurate. That's what you'll get as a new member. I joined the board as a brand new Alive member when I joined the board as well. So there was a little bit of a challenge trying to understand what my impact would be. The Board Buddy program is a great resource that allows you to connect with the organization, allay any imposter syndrome that you might feel. But it is a very well organized group. There is a Google Drive that has access to tons of documents, and you will be educated and inspired by the colleagues you meet. So it's a lot of great opportunity. I still try to figure out my place as I go along, but every time I have a question, there's a ton of people to go to. And there's a genuine interest in collaboration and partnership that I have not experienced in other boards. So wonderful.
Well, to wrap us up, just again, thank you so much for your interest in the board and in supporting Alive and moving our mission forward. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're all, happy to answer those and happy to help you find out what your best place is to connect with the board. So thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to hearing more from all of you. So thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.